Welcome back to Where We Eating, the food history podcast that brings world history to the table. No, the food podcast that brings world history to the table. That sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm Kaya.
And I'm Kira.
And we're back with another story time, supplemented with anecdotes and observations that are sometimes relevant, mostly not. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice. We have a little bit of a new setup for our YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, you'll notice better lighting, different angles.
Yep.
If you're listening to audio, it is exactly the same.
Yep, that makes sense.
Cool. All right, so let's just dive right in. What do you know about the history of gum?
Oh, literally nothing.
Chewing and or bubble, because we will cover both.
Well, one, I didn't really think there was an actual difference between the two, but okay, let's go.
Okay. Okay, I actually have in my notes to look at Wikipedia because
Except for like the taste.
Except
for like the taste.
Oh,
because like you think bubble gum, that's like a flavor.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, they do have different flavors, different colors. Different they do have different textures. We'll cover a little bit when we get to.
They do have different textures.
Yeah, one's for chewing, one's for bubbles. Okay. In my notes, I have to read the first paragraph here in the Wikipedia because I like the way that they phrased it. It says, the cultural tradition of chewing gum seems to have developed through a convergent evolution process, as traces of this habit has arisen separately in many early civilizations. Each early precursor to chewing gum was derived from natural growths local to the region and was chewed purely out of the instinctual desire to masticate.
Oh, heck yes.
Early chewers did not necessarily desire to derive nutritional benefits from their chewable substances, but at times sought taste stimuli and teeth cleaning or breath freshening capabilities, which I thought was a really hilarious way to say everyone likes to chew stuff.
No, it's true. And as a ADHD girly, I too really love to chew things.
Yeah, the human urge and desire to chew it's
real.
It's through the ages, across borders, everyone does it. Everyone wants to chew things.
Yeah, my parents had to yell at me to stop chewing the front of my shirts as a child.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would just gnaw little bite marks into my shirts.
You know, in my school class pictures, there were a few kids that would have a moist spot on the top of their collars, and I never really understood why.
They were little me's.
They were probably chewing on their shirts like you were. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, mystery solved. Yeah, so everyone likes to chew stuff. And so there are different, and like it said, all the different earlier civilizations chewed what they had, what was near them. So there's listed in Finland, there's a 5,000-year-old chewing gum made from birch bark tar with tooth imprints that was found. So they used birch bark tar. And also, I think that points to the fact that people have also just been spitting their gum everywhere since the beginning as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will also come to later. Yes, so then that was in Finland. In Mexico, the Maya and Aztec people were the first to use what we now consider or what is now classified as gum. It's from the specific trees in Mexico. I think there's some in South America as well. It's the sapodilla tree, and they would carve zigzag gouges into the tree, and it would kind of just release this sap, which was called chicle, which is what we call gum in Spanish. Yes.
Oh,
chicle. So it's
many things make sense now.
Yeah. It's like a natural tree gum. So I don't know if you've noticed, some certain plants, if you break them or scratch them, they'll release a sappy substance. It's kind of like their Band-Aid to kind of bind the wound so that it will continue growing. So this specific tree, the sapodilla tree, it's classed as gum. So the Aztec and Maya people would carve the trees in basically to allow it to like run down so they could collect it. They used it both to chew and as a glue to like stick stuff together.
So what I'm hearing here is our chewing gum is us basically chewing tree scabs.
Yes.
Wonderful. Love this already.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And so that was in Mexico.
Nice.
In Greece, they chewed on resin from the mastic tree. Resin from the mastic tree. So this mastic resin had antiseptic properties and was believed to maintain oral health. So it killed the bad bacteria, kind of like toothpaste does today. Hippocrates, father of medicine, Hippocratic Oath, wrote of the tears of Chios. I'm going to say Chios. Because the resin, when it's collected from, well, first of all, the trees it grows out of, or comes out of, were on the island of Chios. Chios. I'm going to say Chios. On the island of Chios. And the resin, as it came out, it would come out in droplets, which they called tears. And it would harden in like that drop shape. So they called it the tears of Chios.
Oh.
And so he wrote about it in his medical writings back in the day. That he used it for preventing digestive issues, for colds, and for breath freshening.
Oh.
So, so the antiseptic properties of it, clean the mouth, freshen the breath. The same with the chicle in Mexico. It did the same. I have a little bit about that later. But there's a table here on Wikipedia of like different civilizations and what they chewed. I want to see if you can pick out the ones that are not quite like the others, or it's kind of like a half and half kind of list. So Greece, we already talked about, they chewed mastic, which was the resin out of that tree. The Maya, they chewed chicle, which we covered. Ancient Horn of Africa and Yemen, they chewed something called khat, Khat. In China, they chewed ginseng. The Inuit from Alaska, they chewed blubber. Native Americans.
Oh, that seems like it would be a very
satisfying texture. Yeah, for sure. Native Americans in like U.S. Americans, they chewed sugar pine and spruce sap. So it was kind of like, depending on where they were, saps from the trees near because there are lots of different trees in the U.S. So the ones for sure in the Northeast, you chewed spruce sap, and we'll come back to that as well. South America, they chewed coca leaves. South Asia, in parentheses India, but other nations as well, chewed betel nuts. Tropical West Africa, cola nuts. And then U.S., it says early settlers, tobacco leaves. So there is a, I think, distinct difference in between a few of them. Some are for chewing, some are for other properties found in the plant. That's not necessarily just the satisfaction of chewing it or oral health.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not oral health.
Quite a few of these are very unhealthy for the body. Betel nut, tobacco. Cola nut wasn't as bad as the other two. I did look up coca leaves because they are technically like a controlled substance because cocaine is extracted from them.
Okay.
Was that not what you were?
Oh, I had no idea what that was.
Oh, yes. So coca leaves is where cocaine comes from.
Oh, learn something new every day.
Yeah, it does have to be processed. It's not like when you chew the plant, it's not like a cocaine high. It is like kind of like caffeine. So it is a little bit, it is like a stimulant.
It's a stimulant, but not like a stimulant.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Just chewing the leaves and drinking it as tea, which it is used traditionally. That's how it's used. You don't get the cocaine high from that. It is, once it's processed and like, I guess distilled. I don't know the process of making cocaine, I'm gonna be honest. But so chewing the leaves, the way that it's used traditionally, not that way. It is technically, it's in the US, it's like considered basically on the same level as cocaine. Like they don't want you to have it. And a lot of places in South America, it's pretty similar. Like it's allowed, like they're not gonna like throw people in jail really for having it, but it's like, don't do it.
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah. So, but betel nut and tobacco, both.
What is betel nut?
Betel nut, okay, it's like, it's a nut. It's, according to the Wikipedia, it's originally native to the Philippines, but it's in a lot of Southeast Asia, and it's chewed, and it has like an addictive high, not necessarily high, but it has a stimulant, and it's kind of comparable to like tobacco, like chewing tobacco.
Oh, interesting.
So in that it is addictive, and also that it causes oral and esophageal, like esophagus cancers. Like it causes cancer. Like it's not good for you. Like the other ones are like, I mean, you don't necessarily, we don't know how good it is for your teeth to like, and jaws to chew gum now, like regular chewing gum, but like it's not necessarily going to cause you cancer of the jaw. You know, but those two, I was like, some of these are not like the others. Those two specifically, because they are addictive and potentially causing cancer, but it kind of just like adds to the everyone's chewing something, and depending on what's around you, could be good or bad.
Yep.
So what we're really going to focus on is, obviously, we're going to focus more on like the commercialization and like the growth in the US, because that's where we live. So commercialization of gum started obviously in the United States. So we spoke a little bit of Native Americans chewing spruce sap and
spruce juice.
Yes. The New England settlers, when they came, met, you know, all that stuff, they adopted the practice as well. So that became like a commonplace for people to chew on spruce sap. So in 1848, John B. Curtis developed and sold the first commercial chewing gum, and it was called the State of Maine Pure Spruce Gum. So it was the spruce sap that was, I think, like boiled to make it a more dense texture, so it could be chewed.
So John B. Curtis.
Not
to be confused with Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, yes. Two very different people. Yes. So then 2 years later, a commercial gum made from paraffin wax was introduced, and then became more popular than the previous spruce gum.
More than the spruce juice,
yes. And then we skip ahead, 1869, William F. Sample, he was a dentist from Ohio, filed a patent for his gum that was intended to clean teeth and strengthen the jaw. Yeah. So it was not sweet. It was not intended to be like a treat or for fun or yumminess. It was oral health all the way. And the ingredients included chalk, powdered licorice root, and charcoal. So abrasive to kind of like scrub the teeth, I guess. So
I have seen charcoal.
Yeah, the charcoal toothpaste. Chalk was used through the years to clean teeth. Yeah. So, I mean, like, he's not far off.
Yeah.
It's not, like, it's not pleasurable. Yeah, it's not to be eaten, like, for fun. So, it was only for oral health. So, we move forward to 1871, chicle that we learned is from Mexico. It was brought to the U.S. and to New York. It was originally intended to be used as a substitute for rubber, like in industrial tires, stuff like that. It didn't work.
Reasonable.
Yeah, but it did work for chewing gum. To replace like the paraffin wax and bases that were popular at the time, the chicle was superior to that.
Yeah.
So Thomas Adams was credited as being one of the first ones to receive the chicle. And then he created Adams New York chewing gum in 1871. In 1893, we come across a Mr. Wrigley, who was a soap salesman. Yeah, he was a soap salesman, and as a gimmick started making gum to give away with the soap, to kind of give it like a, buy our soap, you'll get free gum.
Oh, nice.
But then the gum became more popular than the soap. So he just said, scrap the soap, we sell gum now.
That's reasonable.
And they still sell gum today.
It's true.
So yeah, in 1893, Wrigley's Spearmint Gum was created.
Oh, man.
And started being sold. Yeah. And then in 1899, chiclets were started. They came on the market, which again is also still available. I'm sure, I mean, we'll get into it, how it's not, chicle isn't used in commercial gum anymore, but at that time, like that's when it started.
Yeah,
that's where it came from. So we move forward. Oh, we're getting to our tangent of bubble gum. So 1928. Yeah, so we move forward a few years because we're okay. So a man named Walter Deemer. I'm gonna say Deemer. He was an accountant for the Fleer Chewing Gum Company.
The what chewing gum company?
Fleer, Fleer.
10 out of 10 name.
Yeah. And he was their accountant. He was not in R&D. He did the books. But he started experimenting with formulations for gum. And he found a formula that was less sticky and more stretchy than traditional chewing gum. And they named it Double Bubble. Which is still around today.
I love some Double Bubble.
Yeah, and it's so, because with regular chewing gum, it is good for obviously chewing, but it just kind of like maintains its shape. With Double Bubble or with bubble gum, it does stretch. Yeah, to allow for the bubble to be created. Yeah. And the gum, he created it pink, because they only had red food dye available. Oh. And I mean, and the gum at that time, and if a lot of gums still today, it was gray. So they added red, and then it just kind of became pink, and so they just kept it pink. And so
they should. It fits.
It fits. And like even today, like other companies that came along after made pink bubble gum, because it's just the perfect combination.
Yeah. Like it matches the flavor. The vibes are great.
Yes, it's as it should be. And I wrote my notes in pink. I don't know if you've noticed.
Oh, I have. And I kind of cracked up because I'm just also using a pink pen.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's the gum episode. Yeah. It's all about pink. Cool. So, yes, Double Bubble was created in 1928. It remained the dominant bubble gum until after World War II. So that was 30 years? 20 years? 15-ish? 15, 20? And that's when, I'm just saying numbers now. That's when Bazooka Bubblegum came out. Oh. And that kind of like, they're like one and two.
Put some comics in my bubblegum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so boy. Bazooka kind of took over. But, I mean, Double Bubble, as we've mentioned, is still a major player. But, back to regular gum. All gum. Not necessarily just bubblegum. So all of these companies in the late 1800s kind of switched from the original sap or the paraffin wax to the chicle base for their gums, but it was used so much And it was so unsustainable that by the mid 1930s, 1/4 of Mexico's sapodilla trees were dead. It was just like not a sustainable practice.
No.
They were just like killing all the trees, harvesting all the gum, all the chicle, for this massive industry that kind of blew up. But by the 1960s, manufacturers switched to synthetic rubber versus the chicle for the gum. So by the 1980s, there was no more chicle being exported out of Mexico.
Oh.
It's all just synthetic now. So good for the trees, not necessarily for everything else, but it's fine. The synthetic rubber was cheaper. It was less sticky, and it also made for a better bubble gum, which...
Oh, that makes sense. Consistency.
The consistency, it's... And that another point of it, too, was that with the chicle-based bubble gum, when the bubble was blown, if it popped and got on your face, like, it was really sticky and hard to get off. And with the new synthetic base, it was a lot easier to peel off. It didn't just, like, stick.
Okay, I'm really curious as to what the original was like, because I've obviously only had the synthetic being born when I was.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've had some trouble getting that off my face.
Yeah.
I've struggled.
Yeah.
Like, I've struggled.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, you didn't just, like, put peanut butter or mayo? Like, the oil from it.
Oh, I never thought about that. But
it.
I'm just going to put this out there. If I was going to try either of those, it would be peanut butter.
Yeah, I mean...
The idea of smearing mayo,
okay, well...
That's my feelings towards that.
I mean, your feelings are valid.
Home remedy.
I'm happy to hear your feelings.
I'm here to state them.
Thank you for feeling safe enough to share them.
Yeah.
Snaps for Kira. But yeah, if you have gum stuck somewhere, you using oil is
that makes
to
sense.
unstick it. Yeah, like if you get it,
as
like
I just start pulling out sesame oil.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like any kind of oil. Peanut butter is just kind of like more accessible
and tastier.
And tastier. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't give me this reflex.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move ahead, early 21st century, so early 2000s. Gum dropped in popularity. It was listed that the drop in popularity was due to a loss of association with counterculture and teen rebelliousness.
Oh.
Which is like...
That sounds right, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it became mainstream and people didn't want it anymore. Which is a little funny because it's ancient.
Cool girl. I don't chew gum sassily.
Yeah, exactly. It's... I don't know. So that was the drop. Others blame smartphones. Which... For... like lack of impulse buying in markets and stores because you're on your phone in line instead of looking at the stuff at the counter.
Okay, that makes sense, but also for me, who is a dopamine fiend, aka ADHD
haver,
yeah. The oral fixation of chewing,
yeah,
I would imagine is a little less intense when you're also getting dopamine hits from your phone.
True.
Like, you're scrolling.
So, yeah. So, I mean, there could be real merit to the smartphone thing other than people being distracted in a checkout line.
Granted, I am one of those checkout line people. Like, I get gum every time I go to the grocery store.
I don't chew gum because it hurts my jaw. Like, it tires it out. So I eat mints. But I do get mints when I'm at the grocery store.
Yeah, because they're right there.
They're right there.
And you're just like, you know what? My breath do stank.
It does. That was another thing, too, that over COVID, sales dropped a lot because people didn't care about their stinky breath because they had masks on and weren't around people. But since then, the market has kind of like bounced back to before.
You would have thought that, like, with the mask thing, we would have been a little more aware of our breath.
I definitely was, like, and I definitely did eat more mints.
Yeah, I was not having that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Yeah. It was. I did eat more mints, but also like it would help me to know whether or not my mask was securely fastened, because the minty breath would get into my eyes and burn.
Oh.
So I would have to like make sure I like really pinch the nose. Anyway,
that was your bird in the mind.
that was my bird in the mind. Yeah, for sure. So, bubblegum. So again, going along with the counterculture and teen rebelliousness, and just kind of like the perception of chewing gum, and like we mentioned earlier, the 5,000-year-old gum that was found and how people spit it out and everywhere. So there's like different. Obviously, society has different views of chewing gum. In Aztec culture, it was socially unacceptable for adults, especially men, to chew gum in public or chicle. Like, there's a quote from a Spanish missionary in the 16th century that said, "All the women who are unmarried chew chicle in public. One's wife also chews chicle, but not in public. With it, they dispel the bad odor of their mouths or the bad smell of their teeth. These they chew chicle in order not to be detested." So they did it for oral health as well. So they didn't have stinky breath. But like the adults apparently didn't do it in public. And men, apparently, the women who did chew chicle in public were considered like harlots. And the men were considered like effeminate. So it was just like, it's so, yeah, there's such a weird,
I love that for centuries we have just been choosing really random gender roles.
Exactly. But I mean, even like US, chewing gum was tied to counterculture and teen rebelliousness.
Yeah.
When for centuries it was for health and oral health and just general niceness.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just people pick random things to care about and make things up as they go.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that is kind of valid is in Singapore, it's banned because of cleanliness.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let me see, where is it at? It's here. It's banned because of improper discarding.
Oh, yeah.
Being like on sidewalks and stuff. So the reason it stays forever is because it's the synthetic. We already talked about it. It's the synthetic instead of the chicle. And it's not digestible, which that's another thing I'm going to get to. It's not digestible. It's not water.
I swallow my gum all the time.
Yeah, it's not digestible. It's not water soluble. And it bonds to asphalt and concrete. So they stick really well. And it just stays. So to get it off, they need to use a steam jet and scraper, which is slow and labor intensive. So that's why Singapore has banned chewing gum, just to keep their streets clean.
Honestly, that's reasonable.
It really is.
Because if you're on an island with a bunch of people,
yeah,
dude, every time I see gum on the sidewalk,
it's so gross.
I get so filled with like immense rage.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
So that moving to our next. If you swallow your gum, will it stay in your stomach for 7 years?
I'm gonna go with no.
No. Have you heard that before?
I have heard that.
Anyone's ever told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it won't, because you'll just poop it out.
Yeah.
You won't digest it. But it will pass through your system.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
However,
because otherwise, my tummy would still be full of gum.
There was a 4-year-old boy in 1998 who was rewarded with gum when he did good things, but he swallowed every piece he was given. And so it says that he swallowed 5 to 7 pieces daily. And because he swallowed so much in such like short period, they would stick together, and he had a mass that like had to be removed surgically because it couldn't pass, because it was like so much gum stuck together.
That's like the boba girl I saw like a picture online, not sure if this was real, but I'm fairly certain was, of like a chick that just like kept swallowing her boba whole. And so like she had to go to the doctor because there was just like boba all up in there.
Maybe, I don't know.
She was like drinking a lot and like not chewing.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this little boy had to get the gum surgically removed from his stomach because it stuck together because he swallowed so much. One piece is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
It'll pass. But multiple every day.
Oh, yeah. That's
not good.
That's much.
And then there was another story of a 1.5-year-old girl who swallowed gum and then 4 coins. And then the coins stuck to the gum. And so then that had to be removed as well. So if you just swallow the gum, you're good. Don't go chasing it with coins.
I will remember this.
Yeah,
I won't be...
Don't swallow coins.
Swallowing coins after my gum.
PSA to all the people out there.
Separate days.
Yeah.
Separate days.
Space out the... Feel free to swallow your gum, just not all at once.
Feel free to swallow your coins.
Swallow your coins, but not after you've swallowed your gum.
Yeah.
Space it out.
Yeah, space out.
Be safe.
Yeah. Don't swallow your coins. For legal purposes, do not swallow your coins.
Yes.
Swallow your coins.
Do not swallow your coins. Public service announcement. Do not swallow coins. To whom it may concern, the Where Are We Eating podcast does not promote...
We don't endorse
swallowing
coins.
Kira has a facial tic that's causing her to wink at the camera. She's not doing it in a cheeky implication that you should do the opposite of what she's saying.
Don't swallow your coins.
All right, well, that's it. That's all of my research.
I have a Google that I have to do.
Okay.
What was you said?
I don't know. What was I said?
Was the Greek tree?
Oh, mastic?
Mastic?
MASTIC? Yeah, resin.
Does masticon come from mastic? Yeah, that's like it looks like that's I can't tell.
It's for roofing?
Huh?
It's for roofing? Is that not what you were going to say?
No, so we get mastication from Latin, which got masticare from masticon, which this says means to gnash the teeth. So I can't tell if mastic resin came from the word gnash the teeth or if gnashing the teeth came from gnashing on that resin.
Well, did Greek come before Latin?
Well, it
all the same time?
Like this is late Latin that got the word from masticon. Yeah, from the Greek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
Oh, you're saying did... Oh, I get it now.
So, like, I'm saying, like, did that come from... We're finding out. This is... Oh! Mastax. That's probably an awful pronunciation. Means jaw. Is this at all is the tree related to that?
Girl, I don't know. I didn't do that research.
These are the questions that I'm wanting us all to think on.
Maybe.
The word mastic is derived indirectly from ancient Greek mastic, which may be related to ancient Greek chew. So it looks like the resin gets its name from what they did with it.
Chewing.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That is pretty dope. That little tree, they were just like, we like to chew on that tree. That's the chew tree.
That's the chew tree.
The chew tree. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad I did this research.
I'm very happy with that. Thank you.
Yeah. In case anyone was watching the pod and in the beginning, if it looked like I was on my phone, it's because she said the name of the resin.
Mastic.
And I'm like, that sounds like
chew.
Mastication.
And yeah, you're right.
So it's the chew tree.
It's the chew tree.
Ha! Wonderful.
So,
yeah, the Greeks chewed the chew tree.
Yeah.
Wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful.
Great note to end on.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc. Give us 5 stars or a thumbs up. Put a nice little comment. You guys are so cute. Kay, your hair looks great. Kira, I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Any of the above, any of your own, personal comments.
Feel free to go chew on some tree juice.
Yeah. Go find a chew tree.
Yep. Find a chew tree.
Go find a chew tree and let us know how it goes. Let us know what it tastes like.
For reals.
Because, I mean, obviously the texture will be satisfying. Who knows what the flavor's like?
Well, now this is on a list of things for me to do in my life.
List some things to do. So, watch movies, learn Italian. There was something else. Now chew a chew tree.
Yes, I wrote the other thing down. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either. But
it was
that's
very
okay.
Specific.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. We'll make an episode for it.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Chew on your trees.
Maybe.
Oh, that looks so weird. I just looked at mastic. Plant resin. I'm looking up the history. I'm very sorry for how long this is taking me.
It's okay. I'll cut it out so it'll look like you did it immediately.
Good, because I'm hyper fixating on this right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't mind me.